What's the weirdest game you've ever played? Not the worst or the one you hated the most, but the weirdest. What drew you to it? How long did you play it? And have you gone back to it again and again? Most of you might say no to that last question, but some gamers say yes. Some gamers even speedrun these strange games. These intrepid souls have their sights on different prizes than the more prestigious speedruns in titles like Super Mario 64. No, they're down in the speedrunning trenches setting top times in games like Wii Chess or Hey You Pikachu. They don't want fame or fortune as much as speedrunners can have those things at least. No, these runners care about competition and getting PBs in more obscure games instead. What you're about to see is something very different from a normal speedrunning video, which celebrates popular games, bigger-than-life personalities, and large skips. Instead, you're about to enter a world of obsessive devotion, the world of the most unusual speedruns of all time. We're going to cover quite a few games, but one of the oddest is surely Extreme Sports with the Berenstain Bears, developed by Sound Source Interactive and released in 2000 for the Game Boy Color. I'm not sure who at Sound Source thought that the sedate Berenstain Bears needed to be placed into an extreme sports game, but it happened and here we are. The gameplay consists of 6 sports in which either brother or sister bear can race: tobogganing, rafting, sledding, kayaking, biking, and dirtboarding. Get a good enough time and you win first place on the leaderboards. That's the entire game, and by most accounts it's a pretty bad game. In an IGN review from 2000, the reviewer stated, "Watching Sister Bear spin 720 while riding fakie on a skateboard on hardpack gives me the feeling that something is very, very wrong. Moreover, the sound effects in the game are extremely grating. And the game is hard. Really hard. It all adds up to an experience that most people would not define as a good time." However, in spite of all these flaws and the inherent bizarreness of the game's premise, there is a large and devoted speedrunning community for Extreme Sports with the Berenstain Bears. In fact, 22 players are on the beginner trickless leaderboard, with a few others on other leaderboards for the game. There are 6 categories, which are separated by difficulty and playstyle. The beginner, intermediate, and advanced tricks categories are not popular. Tetris Roo from Australia holds the top times in all 3 of these categories, as well as in the intermediate and advanced trickless runs. It's beginner trickless where this game starts to get really competitive, and a lot of it is because of the technique known as snaking. This trick was pioneered by Tetris Roo and involves making minute directional changes back and forth to increase speed. The game had already seen a major chase for the world record from June to September 2019. However, the discovery of snaking inspired a new battle in early 2021 between Bubble Rhapsody, Tetris Roo, Foiled Thrice, and Huffaluffagus. Bubble Rhapsody struck first with a 446 on January 17, but Foiled Thrice quickly upended them with a 440 just 5 days later, plus a 439 the next month for good measure. Ultimately though, it was Huffaluffagus who would have the final word in the world record chase as he scored back-to-back world records in the first week of May to set the current top time of 436. I'm not kidding when I say that this game's community is devoted. They held the first annual Extreme Sports with the Berenstain Bears World Championship in February 2021, in which Ed Mannion, the game's creator, was featured in an interview before the tournament and instructed the community on some in-game tricks that had never been discovered before. Every major runner of the game was featured in the tournament, which was ultimately won by Tetris Roo. Almost overshadowing the excitement was the forceful call by the tournament MC and several participants for one of the Speedrun.com moderators, Flash Theory, to step down due to inactivity. This drama spilled onto the Speedrun.com forums soon after the tournament, with several runners accusing Flash Theory of allowing cheated and invalid runs onto the leaderboards due to inattention. One community member attested to the fact that Flash Theory had not joined the game's Discord server, participated in the World Championship, or even bought any of the, quote, official tournament merchandise. However, as of April 2022, Flash Theory is still a moderator for the game on speedrun.com. I don't want to belabor the point, but the community members take this game and themselves extremely seriously, with one post lauding the absolutely jaw-dropping snaking technique discovered by Tetris Roo and the unprecedented growth rate of the community, not to mention the unparalleled score composed for this legendary game. The same post also expressed hope for another World Championship to tie in with the Beijing 2022 Winter Olympics. This level of praise seems a tad excessive for a game that has pixelated bears doing BMX tricks, but we can certainly admire the commitment shown by these intense competitors. The Berenstain Bears aren't the only childhood icons to have gotten the Extreme Sports makeover, however. No, Arthur Reed, the young aardvark who graced public television for a quarter of a century, also has his own collection of minigames, sports-related and otherwise, that speedrunners have chosen to tackle. It's called Arthur's Absolutely Fun Day, and oddly, it also came out in 2000 for the Game Boy Color. It features such enjoyable activities as flipping pancakes at approximately 5 frames per second, skateboarding at a snail's pace, and watching Arthur and his friend Francine stare creepily into the camera as Arthur launches basketballs at a hoop. This game is low-grade nightmare fuel. Still, the objectives for this game are fairly simple, attested to by the fact that the only guide for this game, created by one of the speedrun.com moderators, consists of one sentence. Play game 16 times and go into Carnival after. Anyway, there's 2 categories, any percent and 100%. For any percent, the runner has to collect 16 stars in order to go to an amusement park. Any minigame is allowable, including repeating the same minigame. So the world record of this run by Modest Tomato consists of Arthur throwing library books at shelves over and over for 7 minutes. The 100% run requires each minigame to be completed before entrance to the amusement park. Modest Tomato also holds the record for this run, and in fact has held both the any percent and 100% world records since 2018. They are the undisputed monarch of Arthur's Absolutely Fun Day speedrunning. Lest you think that cuddly anthropomorphic cartoons are the only ones with weird speedruns, we now turn to one of the strangest games ever created, The Typing of the Dead. Based on the venerable House of the Dead franchise by Sega, The Typing of the Dead requires the player to destroy zombies using typewriters. Yes, somehow the vintage typewriter that the player character uses is equipped with heavy caliber machine guns capable of mowing down the massive hordes of the undead. It also has some of the worst voice acting in video game history.
We're meeting G over there. What?
It is absolutely one of the most outlandish games ever created, and was originally released for arcades, with PC and Dreamcast releases coming later. It even spawned several sequels and spin-offs. Now, you might think that it's simple to speedrun a game like this, you just have to type as fast as you can, right? While quick typing is a huge part of the run, there are other strategies too. For instance, players intentionally sacrifice civilians to the zombies in order to go faster. They also purposely fail some in-game missions in order to keep the difficulty of the words lower. The entire speedrun route is a delicate dance between successfully advancing the game and failing portions of it in order to maintain momentum. The current world record is a 28:08 by Peaches, who has been battling since 2016 for sole control of the top time. But like many of the games in this video, a sizable community exists for the game. One of the other Typing of the Dead runners, Party Cthulhu, ran this game at Awesome Games Done Quick 2022, and delivered one of the more entertaining segments of the marathon with his enjoyable commentary and high-level performance. His 3016 run was just over 30 seconds behind his PB. As several YouTube commenters noted after the fact, somehow he managed to type, read Twitch chat, and deliver commentary all at once, plus get all the zombies dancing in the end credits after the run was over. If you've ever tried to make zombies groove, you know how difficult it is to do. Then again, his name is Party Cthulhu, so maybe he's got secret occult powers or something. However, unlike Party Cthulhu, there are some people who don't like to put effort into their speedruns. In fact, some people make the entire act of quitting into their speedrun. This is very common in the Wii Play series of games and their spin-offs. For instance, the Wii Chess leaderboards for the Give Up % category read like a monument to what humans can achieve when they just stop trying. Wii Chess Pro's comment on his 6th place speedrun says, "My first Wii Chess speedrun. Please contact me if anyone figures out new shortcuts. A speedrunner named M states that his 14th place run is his first run. Can't play chess, so only category I'll be running except defeat. And then there's Goombay Packer, who has somehow managed to give up at chess 20 seconds slower than anyone else, and currently sits in last place on the leaderboards. The run is so slow that I have a hunch it might be a meme run, so perhaps Goom might actually be winning at losing. Wii Sports and Wii Sports Resort also have give up percent categories. Wii Sports Golf give up percent category requires the player to obtain the maximum score possible on a 9-hole course. Shockwave TLS got the sub 6-minute world record in this category by hitting balls into trees, cliffs, and whatever else he could find lying around. Wii Sports Resort's golf give up percent requires the same only over an 18-hole course. Wii Sports Resort also adds the prestigious Frisbee Golf give up percent category, which also demands that the interested competitor fling their disc everywhere but the designated target. And by the way, these are not minor categories. Each one has 35 to 40 runners listed on the leaderboards. Who knows, maybe watching these impressive speedruns will inspire some young child to set a goal of being the best giver-upper that the world has ever seen. One can sincerely hope. Don't worry, I know you're wondering whether Goombay Packer has any other runs on the give-up leaderboards. He does, a 9th place run in the Wii Sports Golf give-up percent category. We have nearly come to the end of our unusual road, but there's one more speedrun we have to talk about, and that's Hey You Pikachu. How do you speedrun a game where Pikachu basically does whatever he wants? Well, people have been doing it since 2013. However, the big breakthrough in this game came in November 2017 when Inu lowered the world record from 2 hours and 31 minutes to 1 hour and 16 minutes. They then proceeded to write the definitive guide to Hey You Pikachu speedrunning, which is still used today. The world record has been taken by others since then, including Tendog, who is a prolific Wii Sports runner and former Wii Sports Resort Golf world record holder, but Inu is an absolute legend for what they did to this game. The community is fairly large, with almost 20 runners on the leaderboards. But you might ask, what do you actually do to speed through the game? It involves saying specific words and phrases to Pikachu to get him to do the appropriate tasks as quickly as possible, feeding Pokemon as fast as possible, and please brace yourselves, being mean to Pikachu and his friends. At the end of some days, the game wants you to say goodbye to Pikachu. If you call him a Thunderrat or say, I hate you, you save 5 seconds. When Bulbasaur asks you to make a special stew, making a regular stew will save you 5 to 7 seconds. And most egregiously, when Pikachu tries to bid farewell to you at the end of the game, you can say something other than goodbye to save some extra seconds. But then you make Pikachu sad, and if there's one thing I want you to remember from this video, it's that you shouldn't hurt the feelings of your best friend in order to save a few seconds in a speedrun. I like ending my speedrunning videos with thoughtful commentary or inspiring words, but to be honest, I'm not sure if I have anything profound to tell you at the end of this. Perhaps what we can take away from these very silly and unusual speedruns is this. Do what you love. Don't let anybody tell you not to play that Arthur game or the Typing of the Dead or whatever you want to play or wear or do or be. It's true that we've been having a little fun at the expense of some of the games in this video. But honestly, you have to admire the people who speedrun whatever they want and are unashamedly themselves. Maybe you can do that in your own life too. I also think there's something to be said for the role of unabashed playfulness and joy in the role of the human psyche. Perhaps these kinds of speedruns help us to relax and unwind. Maybe they can actually improve our mental health. Or maybe I'm full of it and this is just a dumb video about weird speedruns. You'll have to be the judge. At least we can all agree on one thing. Speedrunning is a sport of endless variety, and we can all be thankful that it has its own weird, unusual, and entertaining corners for us to explore and enjoy.